Hey everyone, welcome. On this channel, we're going to get into an advanced look at the story Disastrous Necromancer. Come with me as we unravel the journey of Lin Moyu, from his beginnings to him becoming a force to be reckoned with in a mysterious new world. If this story sounds like something you'll enjoy, please like, share, and comment. Your support helps us keep providing these in-depth looks into the world of Disastrous Necromancer. Now let's continue.
Everyone's expressions tightened, and the atmosphere became serious. The new trouble that Hao Sovereign mentioned was the Soul Devourer race. Compared to the existence of the Buddha race, the Soul Devourer race was the real big trouble. Right now, they still didn't know if the future Buddha had managed to send out any information. This was the innate ability of the Soul Devourer race. Even if they were trapped in the Void Realm, there was no guarantee that they could be stopped. Hao Sovereign threw his token into the air. The token hovered in midair and then expanded, forming a projection. The projection revealed the scene inside the Void Realm within the token. A soul was constantly roaring inside. This soul was not large, even smaller than a fist. It had eyes and a mouth but no nose. Although the soul was small, its aura was not weak. It was already at the other shore realm. Tien Sovereign observed and said, "Indeed, it is the Soul Devourer race." At this moment, he pointed his finger, and a layer of light screen descended from the sky, recording all the information about the Soul Devourer race. Tien Sovereign continued, "After receiving Hao Sovereign's message, I have retrieved all the information about the Soul Devourer race. Let's review it before we discuss further." Everyone knew what kind of race the Soul Devourer race was, but their understanding was mostly superficial. They hadn't appeared for nearly 100,000 years, so there was no in-depth understanding. Tien Sovereign had retrieved all the information from the Human Emperor Network, which was the most comprehensive information the human race currently had. Lin Moyu carefully reviewed the information, thinking and analyzing at the same time. There was a lot of information, and it took him half an hour to read it all. At this moment, he had formed a systematic understanding of the Soul Devourer race and knew what kind of race it was. Strictly speaking, the Soul Devourer race had only one ability: possession. Before possession, the Soul Devourer race was just a group of souls. They were not strong, had no attack power, and couldn't even cultivate. This was the weakness of the Soul Devourer race. If they couldn't possess, they were extremely fragile. However, the great world is fair. Given such a significant weakness, they were also given several heaven-defying abilities. The Soul Devourer race had 4 heaven-defying abilities. First, their soul realm reached the true God realm at birth, which was a higher starting point than many races. Second, once they started possession, their souls were almost invincible within the same realm. It was difficult to resist their possession within the same realm. Third, they had no life limit. As long as they found a new body before the host died, they could live indefinitely. Fourth, they had the ability to communicate without restriction within their race. As long as they were willing to consume soul power, they could communicate regardless of distance, and no known method could restrict this. These 4 abilities seemed heaven-defying, but they also had limitations, especially the second and third abilities. Their possession targets had to either completely relax and not resist or lose consciousness and be unable to resist. If the target was conscious, possession was almost impossible. The third ability was similar. They could indeed live indefinitely, but each possession would lower their realm. This realm was not based on their soul realm but on the host's realm. No matter what realm the Soul Devourer reached, possession would be useless. If the possessed person was a minor God Sovereign before possession, they might drop to the 8th tier of the God King realm or even lower after possession. The most common situation was a drop of 3 minor realms. The great world is fair. Every race has its advantages and disadvantages. There were many stories about the Soul Devourer race in the information. These stories were all true, many paid for with blood, and some were obtained from the Soul Devourer race's ancestral land after their extermination. The survival of the Soul Devourer race had always been difficult due to various limitations. They initially could only possess some not-so-powerful beings. Even so, they had to wait for the right opportunity to succeed. After success, it was still difficult to cultivate and grow. Until one event changed everything. The Soul Devourer race once possessed a starry sky beast. This starry sky beast was not high in realm, only a god king. Moreover, this starry sky beast had no powerful attack abilities, only one ability. It could launch soul attacks to make people unconscious, which was almost always successful within the same realm. This was actually the starry sky beast's life-saving ability. When in danger, it would launch a soul attack to make the enemy unconscious and then escape. The Soul Devourer race, by chance, possessed this starry sky beast. Using this ability, they began their counterattack. They were very smart, first turning this ability into their own technique, so they could use it even after leaving the starry sky beast. Then they used their powerful soul power to stun the enemy and then possess them. With this method, they began to possess in large numbers, gaining a lot of cultivation techniques and resources. Until later, when their actions were exposed, many races discovered that their people were no longer themselves. So they denounced the Soul Devourer race, which was quiet for a while. Later, during the 100 Races Alliance's attack on the human race, the Soul Devourer race was among them, taking the opportunity to possess many humans. This led to many tragic incidents of humans killing each other. Until finally, Xiao Zhanshan emerged and completely exterminated the Soul Devourer race. After reading all the stories and information, Lin Moyu deeply realized how troublesome and terrifying the Soul Devourer race was. Even Xiao Zhanshan couldn't kill them all back then. After 100,000 years of dormancy, who knew how much the Soul Devourer race had developed, how many members they had, and how many races they were lurking in? In Lin Moyu's view, this race was like a virus, with astonishing concealment and infectivity. As long as they didn't expose themselves, it was hard to find them. The light screen disappeared, and Tien Sovereign said in a low voice, "Everyone has finished reading, right? Let's hear your thoughts." The usually silent Symbol Sovereign was the first to speak this time. "I think the future Buddha did not send out any information. The future Buddha's soul aura is still relatively complete. Sending out information would consume a lot of soul power, which is not hard to see." Hao Sovereign agreed with Symbol Sovereign's view. "At this moment, he is in my void realm. The void realm and the outside world are not in the same space. The power consumption for them to send information should be even greater, and he doesn't seem to have that." Tien Sovereign nodded. "Then let's discuss how to find the Soul Devourer race members hidden among us." Hao Sovereign asked, "What is the production rate of the verification pill?" Tien Sovereign shook his head. "I have already instructed the Alchemy Sovereign to go all out, but only 10,000 pills can be produced per day." Given the number of humans, 10,000 pills per day was just a drop in the bucket. Even if only God Sovereigns were given the pills, it would take a long time to cover everyone. This was a helpless solution, not the best one. Slap. Kill Sovereign slapped his thigh again. "If only that treasure was still here, we wouldn't have so much trouble." That treasure? Lin Moyu couldn't think of any treasure that could solve this problem. Symbol Sovereign explained, "Our human race once had a causality treasure that could trace back to the source based on the law of causality. Unfortunately, that treasure was lost in an ancient ruin. Tracing back to the source meant that they could directly find other Soul Devourer race members through the future Buddha's soul." Tien Sovereign sighed. "Stop talking about useless things and think of some practical solutions." Hao Sovereign looked at Lin Moyu. "Lin Xiaoyu, do you have any good ideas?" Everyone's attention was focused on Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu understood Hao Sovereign's intention. Actually, whether he was right or wrong was not important. These sovereigns just wanted to hear his opinion. From his response, they could gauge his ability to grasp the overall situation. Perhaps they already had a plan in mind. Lin Moyu didn't hold back. "I have a few ideas. I don't know if they are right or wrong, but please listen. First, this matter cannot be rushed. Whether it's the verification pill or the Great World Oath, it can only be done step by step. So, I think we should first identify a group of key individuals, starting with the other shore realm, then the God Sovereigns. But the God Sovereigns are spread too widely. Distributing the verification pills to them will also take a lot of time. Everyone knew that even the Human Emperor Network couldn't make everyone swear the oath simultaneously. The human race was too numerous. No matter how powerful the Human Emperor Network was, it couldn't manage everything at once. Being able to oversee one star system at a time was already impressive. This matter couldn't be resolved with just an announcement. It had to be personally supervised by the Human Emperor Network. The entire process would take a lot of time. For those who can't get the verification pill, they should first swear the Great World Oath, one star system at a time, until the entire Divine City star region is covered. The oath should also include a clause that this matter cannot be disclosed, keeping the information sealed. This is the first thing to do. The second thing is to have the Human Emperor Network check if anyone's realm has suddenly dropped. The characteristic of the Soul Devourer race is that after possession, the realm will drop by 3 to 5 minor realms. There shouldn't be too many such people, and I believe the Human Emperor Network can identify them. We need to pay special attention to these people. Of course, there might also be people who were possessed outside the human star region. They might return to the human star region after restoring their realm. But such people also have a characteristic. Their cultivation stagnates for a long time and then suddenly starts to recover. The third thing is to make all those returning from outside the star region swear the Great World Oath from now on. I think the Human Emperor Network can manage this. The fourth thing is to trouble the Symbol Sovereign to see if he can set up a corresponding rune array to achieve an effect similar to the verification pill. Lin Moyu laid out his thoughts one by one, and the sovereigns gradually showed satisfaction in their eyes. Especially Hao Sovereign, whose eyes were filled with more appreciation. Symbol Sovereign said, Lin Xiaoyu, you are really testing me. Lin Moyu immediately said, I have confidence in Symbol Sovereign. Symbol Sovereign sighed, then I can only give it my all. War Sovereign suddenly asked, Lin Xiaoyu, from what you just said, it seems you are very familiar with the Human Emperor Network. Did someone tell you about it? As he spoke, his gaze shifted to Hao Sovereign. Lin Moyu's methods just now actually revealed that he seemed to be very familiar with the Human Emperor Network. In fact, it was almost as he said. Although the Human Emperor Network was powerful, it also had many limitations. Most cultivators couldn't detect the various limitations of the Human Emperor Network. Lin Moyu shook his head, it's all what I sensed myself. In the Divine City Star region, the power of the Human Emperor Network is strong, even able to interfere with reality. But in the four major star regions, the power of the Human Emperor Network is relatively weak. Although it can also interfere with reality, the area it can affect is much smaller. And the closer to the center of the Divine City Star region, the stronger the power of the Human Emperor Network. For example, here, the power of the Human Emperor Network is very strong. Tian Sovereign squinted his eyes, Lin Xiaoyu's soul sensitivity is beyond imagination. Lin Moyu was a bit puzzled. Wasn't it because his soul was strong enough that he could sense these things? Hao Sovereign said, the sensitivity of the soul and its strength are related, but not entirely. Some people have weak souls but are very sensitive, with a strong sixth sense. And some people, although their souls are strong, are very slow to react, like that one. As he spoke, he looked at Kill Sovereign. Kill Sovereign immediately widened his eyes, you old guy, what do you mean? Nothing. Hao Sovereign ignored him. Kill Sovereign snorted, sitting angrily, glaring at Hao Sovereign with a look that said, just you wait. Tian Sovereign said, soul sensitivity is a good thing. Lin Xiaoyu's suggestions are all good and align with our thoughts. The issue of the Soul Devourer race is very troublesome and will take a long time to deal with. It can't be rushed. Lin Moyu asked, seniors, should we release the information about the Soul Devourer race? Release it, why not? Tian Sovereign's eyes were dangerous, even if we don't release the information, they will soon find out. There might be Soul Devourer race members among the Starry Sky Fishman clan. They will definitely conduct their own investigation, and the information can't be hidden. Soon, all races will know that we in the Starry Sky Fishman clan have exterminated the Buddha race. They will definitely take action. Every race will fear ending up like the Buddha race. In their panic, they will definitely join forces and might even attack us. But if there is information about the Soul Devourer race, they will first conduct internal investigations. After all, almost every race has suffered from the Soul Devourer race. Even we humans find it difficult to investigate internally, let alone those guys. It will probably take them 100 or 80 years to finish their investigation. These years will be enough for us to complete our next plans. Hao Sovereign said, in my opinion, the appearance of the Soul Devourer race, although a considerable trouble, is not entirely without benefits. The plans discussed between the human race and the Starry Sky Fishman clan were not as simple as exterminating the Buddha race. There were further plans that required time to complete, preferably without interference. Originally, the human race had other arrangements, but now with the issue of the Soul Devourer race, as long as they released the information, all races would definitely conduct internal investigations. Other races, unlike the human race, did not have the Human Emperor Network. Their internal investigation efficiency was lower and would take more time. This would buy enough time. After discussing for a while, Tian Sovereign issued several orders. From today, the borders of the Human Star region would be closed. All human cultivators were not allowed to leave the Human Star region. The reason was not disclosed to the public. Lin Moyu knew it was to prevent any Soul Devourer race members within the human race from escaping. In this way, even if the future Buddha managed to send out the information, it would be useless. All returning human cultivators would have to pass the dual tests of the verification pill and the Great World Oath. The Human Emperor Network began to inspect the human race, starting with the Great World Oath. The first to be inspected were all the other Shore Realm and God sovereigns within the human race, as well as all military personnel. As long as these people were fine, there wouldn't be any major problems. After confirming they were fine, the inspection would proceed star system by star system, eventually covering the entire human race. The Human Emperor Network would also count those whose realms had suddenly regressed and those who had left the human star region for over 100 years without progress in their cultivation. The human emperor network usually recorded information about everyone, and now it would come in handy. The entire inspection process was expected to last over 50 years. Two pieces of news that could shock the entire world swept through various races like an unprecedented storm. The Buddhist race was annihilated, and the ones who did it were the human race and the starry sky fishmen race. As two of the four major source races, they eradicated the Buddhist race with thunderous force. According to the news, they left no survivors, not even chickens or dogs. The Buddhist race's star domain was completely shattered and left in ruins. The starry sky fishmen race is currently repairing the star domain that originally belonged to the Buddhist race, and it will become their territory in the future. The starry sky fishmen race had been hidden for many years. Although they are one of the four major source races and control the power of space, no one knew their true strength. However, the fact that the starry sky fishmen race ended their seclusion and re-entered the world indicates that they must have encountered some trouble. For example, a lack of resources or problems in their hidden land. Regardless of the reason, it indicates that there are internal problems within the starry sky fishmen race. Moreover, they had to cooperate with the human race to annihilate the Buddhist race, which also shows that their strength is inferior to the Buddhist race. Some races are eager to test the waters, wanting to probe the starry sky fishmen race while they are still establishing themselves. Other races are beginning to worry, fearing that the human race and the starry sky fishmen race might turn their blades on them next. These races all have past grudges with the human race. No race dared to question the human race. After all, the Buddhist race claimed neutrality and never participated in conflicts between races. There was no reason to annihilate them. But the human race is too strong. Even among the powerful races, they are one of the top, so no one dared to challenge them. Just as the various races were struggling to reach a consensus, a second piece of news spread. The future Buddha is actually from the devouring spirit race. The devouring spirit race was not completely wiped out, they had been lurking for 100,000 years. This news immediately disrupted the plans of all races. This is the real threat. Compared to the human race's blade, the devouring spirit race is the immediate and urgent problem. All races have suffered losses to the devouring spirit race, with members of their races being possessed by them. In the past, the devouring spirit race was not well received even within the coalition of 100 races. It was only because of mutual interests at the time that they were allowed to join the coalition. All races witnessed the brutal scenes of the human race killing each other under the manipulation of the devouring spirit race. Later, Xiao Zhanshan was the first to annihilate the devouring spirit race. At that time, everyone thought the devouring spirit race had been completely eradicated, but it turns out there were remnants. After 100,000 years of lurking, no one knows how much the devouring spirit race has proliferated or if they have infiltrated their own races. In such matters, it is better to believe it exists than to believe it does not. Thus, a vigorous self-examination began. No race had the leisure to care about other matters. Their first priority was to find and eliminate the devouring spirit race within their own race. But the devouring spirit race is deeply hidden and hard to find, destined to be a time-consuming and laborious task. No one doubted the authenticity of the news because it came with images. The soul of the devouring spirit race was clearly visible. In the human race's divine city, inside the central temple, Saint Hao opened a secret path and flew down with Lin Moyu. At first, it was a pitch-black world. After flying for a while, a light appeared in the distance. As the light appeared, Lin Moyu felt an extremely astonishing and immense energy. This energy far surpassed that of a saint and was comparable to a supreme. The two rushed into the light, and countless streams of light flashed before their eyes, making the whole world seem dreamlike and illusory. Lin Moyu felt as if he was in another galaxy, with countless stars twinkling, making it hard to distinguish between reality and illusion. He suddenly realized that the divine city was built on a giant ancient talisman, and at this moment, he was inside this ancient talisman. This is the world within the ancient talisman, Lin Moyu said softly. Saint Hao nodded. The sages of ancient times were indeed extraordinary, far beyond our comparison. They pushed the evolution of ancient talismans to the limit, giving them infinite uses. You should know that the source of our world is a rune, an extremely powerful and mysterious rune. Lin Moyu nodded. He knew this well, and he had even seen the world rune with his own eyes. Saint Hao continued with admiration. The goal of the ancient sages was likely the world rune. They wanted to use the way of runes to approach the world rune, or even control it. After all, legend has it that whoever controls the world rune can control the entire world and become its master. Unfortunately, it seems the ancient sages did not succeed. Antares had said similar things, but he was more certain than Saint Hao. Clearly, Antares knew a lot of information. The dragon race is a mysterious race. Everyone knows of their existence, but few have truly interacted with them. No one knows how long they have existed. The four major source races do not include them, but Lin Moyu felt that the dragon race's history predates the four major source races. Perhaps they existed as early as ancient times. Lin Moyu calculated the route, using the entire divine city as a reference. He roughly knew that he was heading towards the center of the ancient talisman. What is at the center of the ancient talisman? Lin Moyu wondered. Saint Hao smiled. You should be about to break through to the divine saint, right? Lin Moyu nodded. Actually, I could have broken through earlier, but it was inconvenient at the time, so I stopped. Saint Hao sighed. Your foundation is extremely deep and almost perfect. If someone else forcibly interrupted their breakthrough, it would leave after effects, making it difficult to break through to higher realms in the future. But you are different. Even if you interrupt your breakthrough, it won't affect your future. And I believe you have your own considerations for your decisions, but regardless, such things that go against common sense should be done sparingly. I'll take you to meet someone, and let him take a look at you. You can break through there. Lin Moyu was a bit surprised. There was actually someone at the center of the ancient talisman. Who could be at the center of the ancient talisman? After flying for a while, Lin Moyu suddenly felt an incredibly strong war of laws. Various laws intertwined and surged like a storm. Lin Moyu suddenly understood where he was going. Only that place could have such a number and intensity of laws. The Sea of Laws. In the entire world, only the human race's Sea of Laws could have such a number of laws. The Sea of Laws is a very important place for the human race. People enter the Emperor's training ground through the Emperor's network to see the Sea of Laws. But the Sea of Laws, there is a projection created by the Emperor's network. Very few people have seen the real Sea of Laws. Lin Moyu then thought of the old man fishing in the Sea of Laws. The person Saint Hao wanted to take him to see was most likely this old man. What is the identity of this old man? Saint Hao's tone seemed to have a hint of respect. The human race has 6 saints, but he is not one of them. If he is not a saint, yet can be here, could he be a supreme? No, the path to divinity is broken. There will be no new supremes in the world. Saint Tian said that even if the ice and fire heavenly Buddha were resurrected, the human race would have a way to deal with it. Was he referring to this old man? Lin Moyu thought a lot in that instant. Countless stars appeared in his vision. The Sea of Laws had arrived. The real Sea of Laws and the virtual Sea of Laws. At first glance, there is not much difference between the two. But if you look closely, you can still see many differences. Lin Moyu keenly felt the difference between the two and murmured, no wonder the real Sea of Laws is not open to the public. In the real Sea of Laws, a large number of laws are entangled together, making it difficult to distinguish one from another. In such an environment, most cultivators find it hard to practice. Even Lin Moyu found it difficult to comprehend the laws in this environment. However, in the Emperor's training ground, in the virtual Sea of Laws, you only need to choose the law you want to comprehend. The Emperor's network can clearly present the required laws, and with the change in the flow of time, the efficiency of cultivation in the Emperor's training ground is astonishing. Similarly, the consumption is also astonishing. Lin Moyu also understood why the Emperor's training ground is so expensive. Earning points is so difficult, but spending them is so easy. Separating and distinguishing a large number of laws requires a lot of energy. Here, the power of the Emperor's network is very clear and quite powerful. Saint Hao said, "Do you understand now?" Lin Moyu nodded, "I understand." "Then let's go, I'll take you to meet someone." Saint Hao took Lin Moyu and flew towards the depths of the Sea of Laws. This is the holy land of cultivation for the human race, with a large number of law stars floating inside. Each law star is formed after a god's death. There are no cultivation insights of the gods in the law stars, no personal belongings, only the comprehension of the laws. The gods have a 100% control over their own laws. Therefore, the laws contained in the law stars are complete. Saint Hao explained, when a god's lifespan comes to an end, they condense their lifelong law power into a law star. Law stars of the same type can merge with each other, extending their existence. Countless gods of the human race, generation after generation, maintain the Sea of Laws. Lin Moyu listened with respect. This place is a gathering of the selfless dedication of the predecessors of the human race, condensing unimaginable strong will. He walked through the Sea of Laws, his eyes falling towards the deepest part, where he saw 6 special law stars. They are much stronger than other law stars, several times larger. Lin Moyu couldn't help but ask, are those the law stars of the transcendent realm? Saint Hao nodded, yes, the lifespan of the transcendent realm also has an end. They also condense their law power into stars. But the law power of the transcendent realm has changed, mixed with a lot of rule power, so they are very special and powerful. If one day I die, I will become one of them, as a continuation of my life. Saint Hao smiled brightly, as if he had already thought about his afterlife. Lin Moyu didn't speak. He hadn't thought about these things. He was still young and didn't want to die. The key is, he still has ideals and wants to climb to higher peaks. Before truly reaching the peak, he cannot die. Lin Moyu said softly, Senior will not die. His voice was light but very firm. Saint Hao laughed heartily, Good, I hope your words come true. At the other end of the Sea of Laws, Lin Moyu saw the old man again. At this moment, Lin Moyu trembled slightly, his eyes showing a trace of disbelief. This old man was indeed the one he had seen before. However, he felt that the old man was somewhat unreal. If this feeling appeared in the Emperor's network, it would be normal. But if it appeared here, it would be abnormal. This is the real world, how could the old man have a sense of illusion? Saint Hao came to the old man, Greetings, Star Elder. Star Elder chuckled, Long time no see, Little Hao Hao. The term, Little Hao Hao, almost made Lin Moyu laugh. Saint Hao, who had lived for tens of thousands of years, was actually called Little Hao Hao by someone. This scene was very interesting. Saint Hao's mouth twitched twice, looking helpless, Star Elder, please don't joke with me. Okay, Little Hao Hao. Star Elder answered seriously, then looked at Lin Moyu, do you feel uncomfortable? Lin Moyu's expression was strange at this moment. He really wanted to laugh but couldn't, holding it in hard. He forced a smile and respectfully saluted the old man, Junior Lin Moyu, Greetings, Star Elder. Star Elder waved his hand, indicating that Lin Moyu didn't need to be so polite. Good, we met not long ago. How is your rune research going? Lin Moyu answered honestly, I have made some progress. Star Elder nodded, the way of runes is the fundamental way. Although all paths lead to the same destination, no matter which path you take, the way of runes is always closer. Thank you for your guidance, Senior. Lin Moyu was very polite. Saint Hao said, Star Elder, I brought him here to let you see if his foundation has any problems. Star Elder finally got up, come and sit down. Under him, there was a round law star. Star Elder actually used the law star as a stool, which made Lin Moyu a bit speechless. Isn't it said that law stars are formed after the death of gods? Using them as stools seems a bit disrespectful. Saint Hao saw Lin Moyu's thoughts, the star that Star Elder is sitting on is not a god's law star, but a star condensed from excess laws. Lin Moyu noticed that this was indeed the case. The law star emitted chaotic laws, with all kinds of laws present. In this way, it indeed did not belong to any god. But at the same time, Lin Moyu was also surprised. Being able to condense so many laws into one star, this strength is truly remarkable. Many of the laws are mutually conflicting. Merging one or two is fine, but there are at least 1,000 here. Lin Moyu asked himself, he couldn't do it. With various thoughts in his mind, Lin Moyu still obediently went over and sat down. Don't move, it will be over soon, Star Elder said with a light smile. Lin Moyu only felt a warm current rising from under him, instantly enveloping his whole body. His body felt as if it was being washed by some magical power. In less than a second, Star Elder said, Little guy, your foundation is very solid. Unexpectedly, you even found a supreme to refine your body. Have you achieved the purple gold body? Lin Moyu nodded, yes, I have. Star Elder clapped his hands lightly, not bad, the legendary purple gold body, the soul of the transcendent realm, you are already qualified to enter the Star River with your physical body. Little Hao Hao, he is much stronger than you guys. Back then, I told you not to rush your cultivation, to improve your physical body and enter the Star River with your physical body, but none of you listened to me. You even said it was impossible, but this little guy did it. Saint Hao felt like he was being scolded by an elder, a feeling he hadn't had for many years. But he didn't dare to refute. Lin Moyu was a bit embarrassed by the praise, Senior, you flatter me. Star Elder shook his head, not at all. Since you are here, it's perfect. Just integrate into the Star River and become a god. Lin Moyu said softly, Star Elder, I have already entered the Star River. As he spoke, Lin Moyu summoned the Law Star River. At this moment, Saint Hao's eyes widened. A gray and white Law Star River appeared. When other gods' Law Star Rivers appeared, they were all above their heads, but Lin Moyu's Law Star River was beneath him. Moreover, Lin Moyu was not yet a god, yet he could summon the Law Star River at will. Lin Moyu's body slowly sank into the Law Star River, which roared and surged, washing over his body. Saint Hao knew that Lin Moyu was about to step into the realm of gods and had stopped at the last moment, just a hair's breadth away from becoming a god. Additionally, his body had been refined by a supreme with the power of rules, making his physical body extremely strong, having achieved the legendary purple gold body. However, he never expected that Lin Moyu would directly enter the Lost Star River with his physical body. Compared to the purple gold body, this was the true legend among legends. The purple gold body is equivalent to a ticket to enter the Star River with one's physical body, but it does not mean that achieving the purple gold body allows one to walk into the Lost Star River. Lin Moyu did it, accomplishing what was said to be impossible. Saint Hao murmured, "This is truly abnormal." Star Elder snorted, "What abnormal? This is a true genius. You youngsters don't listen to the elders and suffer the consequences." Saint Hao closed his mouth again, not daring to speak. If he said more, he would be reprimanded by Star Elder again. Obviously, Star Elder was already very displeased with these disobedient juniors. Fortunately, Star Elder's attention was mostly on Lin Moyu, his eyes filled with approval. "Not bad, not bad. It's been so many years since I've seen a genius who can enter the Star River with their physical body. You are just a hair's breadth away from becoming a god. Whenever you want, you can become a god. Since you have come here, it is our fate. I will give you a law seed. May you grow into a law tree and bear law fruits in the future." Lin Moyu did not understand what a law seed was, nor did he know what a law tree and law fruit were. But since Star Elder said it was his most treasured item, it must be something good. Moreover, seeing the envious look in Saint Hao's eyes, it was clear that it was indeed a valuable item. To make a saint envious, it must be something extraordinary. Lin Moyu was not foolish and quickly accepted. "I dare not refuse the elder's gift." Star Elder nodded in satisfaction, then looked at Saint Hao with impatience. "What are you still doing here, little Hao Hao? Go back, you must have a lot to do. This little guy is safe with me. He will return naturally after his breakthrough." Star Elder issued an order to leave, and Saint Hao dared not stay any longer. "Then I will trouble you, Star Elder." He turned and left without hesitation. Lin Moyu maliciously guessed that Saint Hao did not want to hear the term, "little Hao Hao," anymore. Star Elder sighed, "These youngsters like little Hao Hao don't listen. Otherwise, with their qualifications, they could also achieve the purple gold body. To become a saint in this era, one's qualifications in cultivation must be excellent. In ancient times, each of them would have been top geniuses. But the era limited them. At this moment, Star Elder turned his palm, and a seed the size of a fingernail appeared in his hand. The seed looked plain and unremarkable, with nothing special about it. "Gather." With a light shout from Star Elder, countless law stars in the sea of laws lit up simultaneously, and a large number of laws flew towards the seed. Lin Moyu opened his soul eye and saw thousands of law lines connecting to the small seed. The seed glowed, and the law aura within it grew stronger, making the seed seem to grow slightly larger. He could feel that the seed was filled with various laws. "Merge." With another light shout, the laws within the seed began to merge, becoming indistinguishable from one another. The seed glowed, emitting various colors of light, which constantly changed and eventually turned into a hazy color, exuding a unique aura. Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat. It seemed somewhat similar to the Chaos Law, but not as inclusive. Chaos Law is more inclusive than this. Gradually, the light on the seed completely disappeared, leaving only a faint mist, and the seed grew larger. Star Elder said, "This is called a law seed. It contains various laws. Plant it in your soul world, and when you become a god and comprehend other laws, it will sprout and grow, making it easier for you to comprehend laws. Water it with laws, and it will grow into a law tree and bear law fruits. Consuming the law fruit can greatly enhance your comprehension of laws. If you eat the law fruit, you might directly master a law to perfection. But what kind of law fruit it will bear depends on your luck. Each law tree can only bear one law fruit. After picking the law fruit, the law tree will wither and become a law seed again, requiring a second watering. And this thing can only be eaten by you. Giving it to others is harmful. Do you understand?" Star Elder handed the law seed to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu immediately took it. "Thank you, senior." It was indeed a good thing. Consuming the law fruit could give him a chance to master a law to perfection. While other gods were still struggling to comprehend their second or third law, he could gain different laws just by eating law fruits. At this moment, Star Elder seemed to remember something. "By the way, are you planning to comprehend multiple laws?" Lin Moyu nodded. "Yes, I do have that plan." Star Elder was relieved. "That's good. If you only comprehend a single law, it would be a waste." Lin Moyu's soul moved, and the law seed flew into his forehead, appearing in his soul world the next second. But as soon as it appeared in his soul world, before Lin Moyu could find a place to plant it, a magic star swooped down. The infinite fusion, magic transformed into a big mouth and swallowed the law seed in one gulp. Lin Moyu's soul eye watched the unexpected event unfold but was too late to stop it. The speed of infinite fusion, magic was too fast, faster than the speed of light. By the time his soul reacted, it had already finished eating. It burped contentedly and returned. This guy must have planned this, Lin Moyu thought. When the law seed was in his hand, it already knew but did not show it. When the law seed entered his soul, it immediately came to snatch it. If this wasn't premeditated, what was? Its intelligence seems to be increasing, Lin Moyu thought. Although it was a pity, being eaten was being eaten. Compared to the law seed, infinite fusion was much more useful, so Lin Moyu did not feel distressed. As long as Star Elder did not find out, it would be fine. Otherwise, it would be hard to explain. Saying that his magic had gained intelligence would be hard to believe. Star Elder seemed not to notice and said, "All right, you can break through to becoming a god now." Lin Moyu responded and immediately began his breakthrough. The Law Star River roared, entering his body and soul world, filling the last gap. The heavens roared. In the Divine City Star domain, colorful rain suddenly began to fall.